Hi coders, CS Time channel here, and this time we will talk about function or method. Let's begin.
This video discusses about definition of a function, why do we need a function, how to declare a function, type of function, examples, and implementation in Java. Imagine if you have household chores list. Start from laundry, cooking, dishes, mopping, water the plant. Doing it alone will be very tiring and take a long time.
Sharing the chores with family members such as
Mom prepares the meal, dad do the mopping, kids water the plants, and so on will make the job easier and faster. The same thing applies to programming. Function or method will make the job of a big project, especially if you work as a team, easier and faster to complete. So, what is a function and why do we need it? Function is a block of code or a set of code grouped together to perform a certain task. It is used to achieve the reusability of code. We write a function once and use it many times. It also provides the easy modification and readability of code. The function is executed only when we call it. Let's see the declaration.
a function or method has function or method signature. Here is the function and method signature consists of method name and parameter list. And then it has access specifier that specify the visibility of the method. There are four types of access specifier: public, private, protected, and default. We will discuss it in detail in a different video. And then we have return type. Return type is the data type that the method returns. If the method doesn't return anything, we use void keyword. So instead of using integer or float or boolean here, we will just write void. Function name or method name to define the name of a function. It must be corresponding to the functionality of the function or method. And then function also has parameter list. It is the list of parameters separated by a comma and enclosed in the pair of parentheses. It contains a data type and variable name. If the method has no parameter, left the parenthesis blank. Here is an example. A function or a method also has function body. It contains all the action to be performed. It is enclosed within the pair of curly braces. There are two types of function, predefined function and user-defined function. Our focus in this video is user-defined function. Predefined function is the standard library function or method, and people call it as built-in function or built-in method. Examples as follows. An user-defined function or method is the method written by the user or programmer. And as I mentioned earlier, our focus here is user-defined method. So the implementation in this video is using Java. Function can return value, can also without return value. Example of function without return value. For example, you are given a situation like this. Write a function that can do calculations such as addition and subtraction of two numbers. First, before I implement it to Java, I'll show you first the pseudocode. In the main class, I have two function or method that I name it as add. It has two parameters, number one, number two, that has data type integer. And then the job of this method just to do additional number one and number two, and then hold it in the result and then display the result. And then the second function or method is subs, because the job is do subtraction of two numbers. So again, I do subtraction of two numbers and hold it in result, and I declare it in integer and I display the result here. Now it's time for us to make the method to call these two. First, I will ask the user to enter the first number, and then we hold it, enter the second number. Once the user enters the second number, we ask the user to choose whether to do operation addition or subtraction. Then we check the user answer. If the user answer number one, which is addition, so it means our program should call method add. So how to call it? So we call it here as caller add, and then what's the parameter? We will put whatever number one given by user here, and then number 2 given by user here, and then we call it. When we call it, then it will pass the value here, and then this number 2 will be passed here, and then do the calculation. Once it's done with the calculation, since it doesn't ask to return the value, there's no return value because for it here, after calculation the result will be displayed here, and then the program go back to this. And if the user choose number 2, the same thing happen also here. We will call method number 2, which is calling the name, and then pass the value that we want to pass. So whatever number input by the user here will be sent here, and then the second will go here, and then after that the first one will go there, and the second one will go there. Again, there is no return value here, so all the job will be done in this method or function. So as soon as it read number 1, number 2, then do calculation, hold it in result, and then the result will be displayed here. Once it's done, go back to the main method. If the user choose none, 1 or 2, then assume as choosing nothing. We say thank you to give a comment to our program, to give good user interface to our program. Then end of the program. Now let's see a function or a method with return value. Suppose you are asked to do this. Write a program that can do calculations such as addition and subtraction of two numbers, which is the same job we did just now. Okay, so again, I write it in pseudocode first, and then we will see the implementation later in Java. So in the main class, I will write the two method or function, and the name here is add. Remember, the name has to represent what's the job of this method or the function. So I put add here with two parameters. The parameters has integer as its data type, and do the calculation here. Once it's done the calculation, since the job is to return value, then this is the indicator. With the without return value, here is just void, but with return value, here should be data type of data that you want to return. For example, here you return the result. Since the result is integer, you add integer and integer, the result will be integer, so the return value is also integer, so this result will go there. The same thing with the second method or function. The name is subs, and then it has two parameter with data type integer. Again, here we do the calculation here. Once we are done with the calculation, since it has return value here, so we have to give return statement here. So this is the indicator when you know the method is return value or without return value. First, the data type of the method or function has data type. Okay, like this here, integer. And then the second, inside of the method or function, it has return like this. Okay, now let's see the main method. In the main method, again the same with the previous one here. We ask the user to input the first number, ask the user to input the second number. We ask the user to choose the operation, maybe addition or subtraction, and then we check the user answer. If the user answer 1, then it means calling this. Then how to call it? It's like this. Add number 1, number 2, this is the caller, and then whatever the result later on, we will put it under result, and then we hold it here, and the output can be displayed here. And then if the user answered 2, it will call subs method. So this is the caller. So the logic is the same with the previous one here. When you call add number, again this number will go there, and this number 2 will go to no 2, like that. And then once the calculation done, whatever result here will be returned back to this. Okay, return back to this, and then it will be hold here, return back, and then hold there. And then the same thing with the second. If the second one is called, then number 1 value will pass it to not 1, and number 2 value will pass it to not 2. After done with the calculation, then it will return, result will be returned to this. Okay, so the output can be displayed here. That's the difference. And then the end of the program here, thank you, and output end of the program. Let's see the implementation. in Java. In this implementation, I'm using Eclipse as my IDE. And to save the time, I prepare the code, so I will just paste it here. And I also paste it here. So here is our program. It's converted from our pseudocode. We have two methods now. The name is add and subs with two parameters. Both are void, which is return no value. So this add has two parameters, and then all the jobs done inside of the method, and then return nothing to the caller. The caller here is this. We discussed it just now in the pseudocode. And then the second method is subs, also has two parameters, and then all the jobs done inside the method, and there's nothing written to the caller. And here is the caller for it. So let's see the main method. In the main method, first of all, I need scanner because I ask input from user. And to use scanner, I need to import Java util scanner. And then I ask the user to enter the first number, and then I hold the answer from the user under integer number 1, and then I ask again the user to enter the second number, and then I hold the answer from the user under number 2 that I declare as integer. And then I ask the user to choose operation, whether it's 1 add or 2 subs. Here I'm asking for string answer or string input, so it means the user should either enter add or subs. And then the answer from the user, I check. If the answer equals to add, then we call the add method. How to call the add method? Because the class name is without, and I instantiate the class here, without w equal to new without. So to call the method add, I need to write the object. So to call the add method, I need to call w dot the name of the method, okay, along with its parameter. This is we call as caller. Otherwise, if the answer is subs, then we call the subs method. Again, to call the subs method, because this is belong to class which is without, so we call it w.subs and then along with its parameters. Otherwise, if the answer is not add, is not subs, then we say thank you. And then every time the jobs is done, we give and statement here and the program. Okay, I'll let you skim it one more time from the top, and then two methods, and then the main method, I use scanner there to get the input from user, and I instantiate the class. Why do I instantiate the class? Because I need it to call my method, and then I ask the user to add the choice, and I want the answer is string answer. So and then I compare it. Since I'm comparing the answer with the string, I cannot do like if answer equal to 5, something like that. That doesn't work for string. You will have to use answer dot equals and then what's the string. Now let's run the program. I'll make it bigger. Enter the first number, say 5. Enter the second number, say 6. And then choices, I use add, for example, and then I see the result and the program. And then if I want to try again the second one, then enter the first number, say I put here 7, and then enter the second number, say I put 8, and then I want to choose number 2, so I put subs, for example. The answer is 7 minus 1 is minus 1. You can improve this program by wrapping it in the do while loop or while loop to make it more user-friendly. So instead of keep running the program, you can just ask the user, want to try again, something like that. Now let's see the second program. The same with our second program, which is with return value. I already prepared the code, so I just paste it here. So I'll do the same also for the main method. So here is our program. We have two methods here. This time we want to return the value to the caller. So the two methods are add with two parameters and then subs with two parameters. Both has return value indicated by this data type, the same here. And then another indication is there is a comment return here, the same here. And then let's see the main method. Since I'm asking for input from user, then I will need to use scanner here. And to be able to use scanner, the same with the previous one, I use import java util.scanner. And then I ask the input from user, and then I hold it under number 1, and then I ask the second number, I hold it under number 2, and then I let the user to choose, and then I hold the answer. This time I am asking for integer answer. So if answer equal to 1, can you see the difference with the previous one? Here I can compare string with equal, but in the previous program I cannot do that because I am comparing string. To compare string, you need equals method. Back to our program here, that if the answer is 1, then we call the method. To call the method again here, we need to instantiate the class with return value here, call the object, and then what's the method name, and then we print the result there. The same thing with the second one. If your user choose number 2, which is subs, so it means we will call subs. However, to call the subs, we need to call the object first. Air value, that's our object, air value dot subs, and then we call. Otherwise, we say thank you and then end of the program, just to make our program more user friendly. I'll let you skim again the program. Okay, from top we have two method. Inside the main method, we have scanner here, and then we have to instantiate the class because the methods belong to the class. Okay, we ask the input from user, and then we check the answer. Okay, then we call whatever answer given, then we call the method. Don't forget to call the method, you will need to use the object. Let's run the program. Enter the first number, 7. I'll make it bigger. Enter the second number, say 9, and then I want to choose 1, so 16. And then if I want to try again, enter the first number, 8, second number 9 or 0, then I want to do number 2. Okay, end of the program. Again, to improve the program, you can wrap your program under do while or while do to make
If you
it
learned something from
more
this video, please subscribe and like for more videos. Thanks for watching.